Lamin Yamal was more than just a promising young football player. At only 16, his name was starting to echo through the halls of the football world. With his silky dribbling skills, unmatched speed, and a vision of the game that belied his years, he had quickly become the player everyone was watching. But despite all the attention and the accolades, Lamin remained humble, grounded, and focused. His love for the game was pure, and his dream was simple: to play at the highest level and leave a mark on the world. Lamin's journey to success had been paved with hard work and dedication. Growing up in a modest neighborhood, he learned early on the value of perseverance. His father had been a passionate football fan, and though he wasn't a professional player, he had instilled in Lamin a deep respect for the sport. Every evening after school, Lamin would spend hours on the worn-out pitch near his home, practicing his ball control, working on his first touch, and perfecting his technique. It was here, on this small patch of grass, where Lamin's love for football blossomed. The local team had noticed his talent when he was just 10 years old, and by the time he was 14, he had joined the youth academy of one of the most prestigious football clubs in Spain. The transition from the streets to the academy wasn't easy, but Lamin had always been adaptable. The level of competition was fierce, and every day felt like a battle to prove himself, but he thrived in this environment. He worked harder than anyone else, pushing his limits, determined to rise above the competition. As the months passed, Lamin's reputation grew. Scouts from top clubs across Europe began to take notice of his exceptional abilities. But while many players his age might have been distracted by the glitz and glamour, Lamin kept his eyes on the prize. He wasn't interested in fame or fortune, he simply wanted to play football, and he wanted to do it at the highest level. It was one rainy afternoon in the middle of preseason when Lamin made a decision that would change the course of his career. He was training at the club's training ground, running drills under the watchful eye of his coach, when his thoughts turned to his best friend, Ibrahim. Ibrahim wasn't a football player, but they had grown up together. They shared a bond that went beyond the game, and Lamin had always admired his friend's passion and determination in everything he did, even if it wasn't football. Ibrahim had been there for Lamin during the toughest times of his life, offering support when Lamin doubted his abilities and celebrating every small victory. Though he had never been particularly interested in football, Ibrahim had always encouraged Lamin to chase his dreams. And now, Lamin wanted to share his world with Ibrahim. "Hey, why don't you come to the training ground with me today?" Lamin had asked Ibrahim a few days before. "The coach wants to see how I've improved, and maybe you could join the session. I know you've always wanted to try it out." Ibrahim had laughed, a little unsure. "Come on, man, you know I'm not much of a footballer. I'll just be in the way." Lamin had shrugged, a grin spreading across his face. "You never know. Maybe you've got hidden talent. Plus, the coach is cool. If you want to join the team, I'm sure he'd let you." Ibrahim had hesitated, but Lamin's persistence and enthusiasm had eventually worn him down. On the morning of the session, Ibrahim arrived at the training ground, unsure of what to expect. He had always watched Lamin play from the sidelines, marveling at his friend's skill, but he never thought he would be part of that world. As Lamin ran through his drills with the team, Ibrahim stood on the sidelines, watching intently. The professionalism, the intensity, and the sheer passion of the players on the field left him in awe. Lamin, with his fluid movements and confident touches, was in a league of his own, but there was something about the way the team worked together, the way each player supported the other, that made Ibrahim feel welcome. During a break in the session, Lamin jogged over to where Ibrahim stood, a water bottle in hand. "Feeling good?" he asked with a smile. Ibrahim nodded, though his nerves were visible. "This is amazing, man. But I don't know if I can keep up with these guys." "You won't know until you try," Lamin said, clapping him on the back. "Come on, join in. The coach will give you some pointers." With a deep breath, Ibrahim stepped onto the pitch. He wasn't sure what to expect, but Lamin's encouragement gave him the confidence to give it a shot. The coach, a seasoned veteran with a reputation for spotting talent, watched as Ibrahim joined the group for the next drill. At first, Ibrahim was clumsy. His touches were heavy, and he often found himself out of position. The other players, though supportive, could see he was out of his element. But Lamin wasn't just any teammate. He wasn't about to let his friend fail. He was patient, offering tips and encouragement, showing Ibrahim how to pass the ball, how to read the game, and how to improve his touch. Slowly, Ibrahim began to find his rhythm. The coach, who had been observing quietly from the sideline, approached Lamin after the session. "Your friend is not bad," he said with a chuckle. "He might need a bit of training, but he's got some potential. I can see that he's got heart." Lamin smiled proudly. "I told you he was a quick learner." The coach nodded thoughtfully. "I'm going to give him a chance. Tell him to come back tomorrow for the full training session. I want to see more." Lamin's heart raced with excitement as he relayed the news to Ibrahim. His friend's face lit up with disbelief and joy. "You're serious? The coach actually wants me to come back?" "Absolutely," Lamin said, feeling a rush of pride. "You've got potential, man. Just keep working at it. You've got the right attitude, and that's what matters most." The following days were a whirlwind for Ibrahim. He began training alongside Lamin, learning the intricacies of the game, developing his skills, and discovering a love for football he never knew existed. But it wasn't just about his personal growth. Ibrahim saw a different side of Lamin: his discipline, his work ethic, and his commitment to his teammates. Lamin was no longer just a talented player to Ibrahim, he was a role model, someone to look up to. The training sessions were intense, but Ibrahim found himself improving day by day. The coach, impressed by his progress, began giving him more responsibility in the drills, and before long, Ibrahim found himself training with the first team. He was still a long way from reaching Lamin's level, but he was determined to keep pushing forward. Lamin had always believed in his friend, and now, Ibrahim was starting to believe in himself too. As Ibrahim continued to train with the team, the connection between him and Lamin grew stronger. Lamin was not only becoming a mentor to his friend but also a source of inspiration. It wasn't just about the drills or the tactics, it was about the mindset. Lamin's understanding of football went beyond the technical aspects. He saw the game as a puzzle, a dance of movements and decisions that required intelligence, composure, and teamwork. Ibrahim, although still a novice compared to the others, started to see things through a new lens. The coach, who had been observing Ibrahim closely, was impressed by his attitude. There was something about Ibrahim that caught his attention. It wasn't just his raw potential or the flashes of talent that emerged in each session, it was his relentless drive. He approached Ibrahim one afternoon after training, pulling him aside from the group. "You've got something that can't be taught," the coach said, his voice low but serious. "It's your mentality. Most players would give up by now, but you keep pushing forward. That kind of resilience can take you far. Keep it up, and you might just surprise a lot of people." Ibrahim looked at the coach in surprise. "You really think so?" "I know so," the coach affirmed, giving him a pat on the back before walking away. As the weeks passed, Ibrahim's game improved by leaps and bounds. His confidence grew, and his understanding of the game deepened. It was clear that he was starting to belong on the same pitch as the others. Still, the gap between him and Lamin was vast. Lamin was an exceptional talent, a player destined for greatness, and Ibrahim often found himself in awe of his friend's skills. One evening, after an intense training session, the team gathered in the locker room, resting and recovering. The coach, who had been unusually quiet during the session, stood up and clapped his hands to get everyone's attention. The room fell silent. "Listen up, everyone," he said, his tone firm but encouraging. "I've been watching you all closely, and there are a few of you I'm really impressed with. Lamin, you've been a model of consistency, and I expect great things from you. But I want to talk about someone else too. Ibrahim, you've made incredible progress in a short time. I decided to offer you a full spot on the team. Welcome aboard." The room erupted into applause. Ibrahim's eyes widened in disbelief. He couldn't believe it. He had come from being an outsider, a friend who had never even played football seriously, to being part of the team. Lamin was the first to approach him, his face beaming with pride. "You did it, man!" Lamin exclaimed, pulling Ibrahim into a tight hug. "I knew you had it in you." Ibrahim could hardly find the words. His heart was pounding in his chest. It wasn't just a dream come true, it was a testament to the hard work, the commitment, and the belief Lamin had in him from the beginning. This moment wasn't just about football, it was about friendship, trust, and growth. The days that followed were a whirlwind. Ibrahim's official position on the team meant he was now part of the squad, sharing the same locker room, attending the same strategy meetings, and being given the chance to play in competitive matches. There were still moments when he doubted himself, but Lamin was always there to offer guidance. The bond between the two of them was unbreakable, built on years of friendship, shared experiences, and a mutual respect for each other's journeys. Lamin, meanwhile, continued to excel. His performances were nothing short of extraordinary. He was quickly becoming the star of the team, drawing the attention of scouts from all over the world. But despite his rising fame, Lamin remained focused on his goal, to bring his team to success and to help those around him reach their potential. He wasn't just about personal glory, he wanted to create something lasting, something that would make a difference in the world of football. It wasn't long before the team was thrust into an important league match against one of their biggest rivals. The atmosphere in the locker room was tense but electrifying. The stakes were high, and the players knew this was their chance to prove themselves on the big stage. Lamin and Ibrahim sat together, gearing up for what was sure to be a challenging game. "Are you ready for this?" Lamin asked, giving his friend a playful nudge. Ibrahim nodded, his nerves giving way to excitement. "I think so. I'll do my best." "You've got this, man," Lamin said with complete confidence. "Just play your game, and remember everything we've worked on." The match began with the intensity that both teams had anticipated. The rivals were fierce, skilled, and relentless, but Lamin and Ibrahim stood strong. Lamin danced past defenders with the elegance and agility that had made him famous. Ibrahim, although not as polished, gave everything he had. He made tackles, passed the ball with precision, and even took a shot at goal, a long-range effort that sailed just over the bar. The crowd erupted with cheers at the sheer audacity of the attempt. As the second half approached, the game remained tied at 1-1. The tension was palpable. The coach called for a strategic change, sending Lamin further up the field in a more attacking role, while Ibrahim was tasked with maintaining control in midfield. It was a moment that could define the match. In the 87th minute, Lamin found himself with the ball at the edge of the box. He saw an opening, a brief moment when the defense faltered, and without hesitation, he took the shot. The ball flew past the goalkeeper and into the back of the net. The stadium erupted into a roar, and Lamin was mobbed by his teammates. Ibrahim, standing on the sidelines, watched in awe as his best friend celebrated, a mix of pride and admiration swelling in his chest. The final whistle blew, and the team had won. Lamin's goal had sealed the victory, and the atmosphere in the locker room was one of exhilaration. As the players celebrated, Lamin sought out Ibrahim, his face lit with excitement. "You did it, we did it!" Lamin shouted, throwing an arm around his friend. "This is just the beginning." Ibrahim smiled, his heart racing. He wasn't just a spectator anymore, he was part of something bigger. He had earned his place on the team, and in that moment, it felt like anything was possible. That night, as the team celebrated their victory, Lamin pulled Ibrahim aside for a moment of quiet reflection. They stood side by side, looking out over the pitch. "You've come a long way, man," Lamin said, his voice full of warmth. "And I'm proud of you." "I couldn't have done it without you," Ibrahim replied, his voice filled with gratitude. "You believed in me when no one else did." Lamin smiled, his gaze fixed on the pitch. "That's what friends are for." Thank you very much, see you in the next video.